Welcome to this week's Who the Folk podcast. I'm Lonnie Goldsmith, the editor of TC Jewfolk. This week we sit down with Ruth Hampton Olkon, the executive director of Jewish Family Service of St. Paul. We talk about what it's like to come back to the agency after several years away, what she picked up while she was gone, and where she's hoping to lead JFS on this week's Who the Folk podcast. Ruth Hampton Olkon, welcome to the Who the Folk podcast, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
So you are the new CEO of Jewish Family Service in St. Paul. You've been here a couple of months.
Yep.
What's it been like sort of getting your feet wet at an agency like JFS?
It's been wonderful. This is a beautiful, warm, welcoming community. So I've spent a lot of time learning and talking with internal and external partners, all of our staff, our board, our community partners. So it's been wonderful.
What's the learning curve like coming into an agency like JFS?
Steep. Is steep, but doable.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I should have said not just coming to JFS in this role, but it's a return to JFS for you. When were you first here?
Yeah, I'm coming home to speak. I served from 2005 to 2011 here as the assistant director.
Okay.
Responsible for all the programs.
Okay. And where were you from 2011 till now?
Yeah, I worked at Allina Health, so a local healthcare provider. I also have a background in public health, so I was a community health improvement manager for that system.
Okay.
Did large-scale community health improvement projects for mostly statewide.
How do you take some of those experiences from the healthcare organization side and bring it back to the social service side?
Yeah. In a couple of different ways.
Okay.
I mean, in some ways, those systems, all systems, I think are, the skills are transferable, the experiences are transferable. It's about building systems that are responsive to client needs or patient needs or community needs. So how do you build responsive systems in partnership? So collaboration was a through line in both settings. What I was very fortunate to be able to do at Allina was to spend a lot of time in evaluation, in setting up ways to understand impact of work. Really had opportunity to see how very large systems work, and how to build a project and then take it to scale.
Okay.
Another piece for me, I think that was important, was around communication. Health systems do a lot around different ways of communication, written messages. So those were skills that I'm bringing back. I was on the fund. I was able to provide funding rather than seek funding. So now I have this understanding about what a funder looks for in a proposal, which is really useful when one is pursuing funding.
It's got to be, helpful, I would imagine, knowing what funders are looking for.
Absolutely. How do you share a story not only about what the need is, but how you will deliver, how to demonstrate impact, how to make it easily accessible and understandable for the funder? Because I was on the side of the table. If it's too hard, it's too hard, and you decrease the chances.
How helpful is it having the experience that you have as a programmer in your time here, running the programs, and now coming back with sort of all of that other knowledge that you bring back from Allina? How does that? How does the sort of the two different experiences help, marry the perfect, CEO?
I like that, the perfect CEO. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm not sure that's what you were saying, but let's go with that.
Sure it was.
Yeah. So the services we do, that is our point. That is why Jewish Family Service is here, is to provide support to community members. And I understand that work. I understand what it takes. I understand from the staff perspective. I've done direct service, so I have that inherent understanding of that experience. So I know the product, so to speak.
Sure.
Right? And I've had the experience then of understanding how to build systems that support the delivery of the service. So I think those are the two threads that I can bring together, that I'm bringing together as a leader here.
What's been the most challenging part coming back in this new role?
How many do I get to share?
As many as you want. Alienate people, don't alienate people, whatever.
Probably just the sheer scope of, that's the best way I can put it, the sheer scope of knowledge and that's required, of responsibility, of the different types of competency that is needed, that I have either experience in or transferable skills, but each community, each setting is unique, and so I need to learn what it means here. So yeah, it takes time, and I am impatient with myself. I want to get through the learning and get to the doing, and what I've had to do is to do both.
But at the very least, you have 6 years of experience in the building and in the agency.
Lucky.
So at least
I'm very lucky.
What is JFS part of the equation? You don't have to do that. You've done that.
Correct. And I'm very fortunate to have had that experience.
What made now the right time for you to come back to JFS?
That's a great question. It was a couple of things. I was in a point in my life where I felt that I had enough leadership experience in enough different areas that I could bring to this position. And like everything, it's timing, right?
Sure.
So the previous CEO went on to lead the St. Paul Federation. And yeah, I'll leave it there. I think it was a combination of enough experience in nonprofits and in social service, having the experience in another system, a related system. But healthcare, it's technically a nonprofit, but it's certainly not. It's a different system.
Indeed.
Right. And timing.
Well, timing is everything.
Timing is everything.
As the adage goes.
And I'm very fortunate.
What is it that makes a family service, the name of the organization is Jewish Family Service. What is it that makes it sort of inherently Jewish? What is it, a value system, like a Jewish value system that comes to the service agency side of it? In your mind, how does that sort of come together?
Yeah, that's a great question. And sorry, but you're not the first one to ask, right?
I would imagine I'm not.
Right. So part of it is really interesting because it's like many organizations, we have a powerful history. So 109 years ago, the Jewish Family Service, 109 years ago, everyone had to take care of their own, and everyone had to build their own whatever organization because communities were so not insular, but isolated, right? Discriminated,
right? That nobody else would help.
No,
nobody
else would help. So you had to help yourself, right? So that was the history. That is no longer true today. But what's true today is what's still relevant are the values of kindness and compassion and repairing the world, Jewish values. So that's true for any community. I think what we offer today is we are the social service agency for the Jewish community, and for the larger community. And we bring those values and incredible quality of service to both of those communities.
One of the things you mentioned was sort of learning about the partners throughout the community that you work with. Who are some of those, and how do those partnerships work to keep JFS as mission driven as you are?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. That's one of the, I've said to several people that this is my dream job, and that focus on partnership is really a big piece of that. I think all nonprofits have to work in partnership now, the successful ones, so it's not, that's not so new and cutting edge, but I think it's really foundational for JFS. And so we certainly have strong partnerships within the Jewish community. So our sister organization, Jewish Family and Children's Service in Minneapolis, we talk to them all the time. We learn together. We do projects together. We provide services together. We just hosted a mental health conference in October in Temple, Israel. 400 people participated. That's an example. The JCC, again, lots of programming there. The Federation, of course. Sholem, of course. I mean, any Jewish organization in town, we have some sort of relationship with, and that's very intentional. And that's a value for us, and that's a value for me. I am constantly seeking collaboration. And then also our larger, we're in a resource-rich town in terms of nonprofits and social services. I didn't say enough resources, but resource-rich, right?
Sure.
So we have lots of partnerships in other ways, too. We're part of a consortium that provides Meals on Wheels, and we do that with other organizations in town. That's one example.
So I know this might be a big question for only 2
months.
For only 2 months, but
lay it on me.
What do you see as sort of the next big thing that you're hoping to accomplish in the next 2, 6, 12 months or more?
Oh, 2? I thought you were going to say years.
No.
2 months. Okay, I have 2 to 12 months is what I heard the
or
timeline.
More. What's the what's the next big thing for JFS?
We are really focused on our mental health services and our mental health services for seniors. So we all know that continues to be an ongoing critical need for all of our communities. JFS has a very strong reputation and strong services for older adults and their caregivers. And in the last couple of years, we have really broken out into doing some innovative mental health work for older adults and their caregivers, using both technology, so using iPads and telephone counseling to decrease depression with older adults and caregivers, and also some home-based. We also have a really interesting art therapy program. So with older adults and their caregivers, so that is a real commitment for us. We've had a long-standing counseling program that always has a waiting list. We have exceptional clinicians here. So maintaining our counseling program, maintaining our strong senior services program, and then continuing to grow and meet needs around mental health support for older adults and their caregivers. And we have some creative ways we're really looking at that.
Well, I think that's outstanding, and I had no idea that mental health care in seniors was such an area of need.
It's huge.
But it's good to see that JFS is on the forefront of that.
Thank you.
Last couple questions, and we will let you get back to your day. Favorite Jewish food?
Matzah brai.
Okay.
Do I need to translate what matzah
No.
is? Okay.
I was going to ask. So you're, and this has come up with in conversation with other people. Sure. Matzah brai, not fried matzah for you.
Oh,
Because
no.
I always
What's
call it the
fried
fried.
matzah?
It's the same thing, but I always call it the fried
you don't
matzah.
call it that.
Yes,
No. And you only make it one way. There's only one
Oh,
way.
okay. All right. Then what's the one way?
The one way is the way my mother makes it,
Okay.
which is the way I make it.
Which is?
Well, first of all, you soak it in milk,
Okay.
mix it with egg, fry it as one big pancake,
Okay.
and then you call your husband to flip it, the pancake,
Yes.
because it's too big and
Sure.
unwieldy, and then you fry the other side, and then you cut it in pieces.
Interesting.
There's only one way. I mean, right?
Okay.
Actually, there's many,
There are
many ways, and they're all delicious. I'm teasing.
It's Judaism. There's no one way to do it.
There's
Come
no
on.
one way.
But that is love fried matzah or matzah brie.
All right. I'll make you some. It's very good.
Excellent. And favorite Jewish holiday?
Hanukkah. I have 3 little kids, so
Okay.
not so little, school age.
Okay.
Not so little. And every year we take a picture of them with the menorah, and it's very sweet.
We try to also. It's with our kids. It is fun.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
something to mark time.
Yeah. It's very nice.
Well, Ruth Hampton Olkon, thank you very much for joining us this week. Mazel tov on your new role here at JFS, and we look forward to see great things to come. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
The Who the Folk podcast is a product of Jew Folk Inc. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, rate, and review the show. If you have a suggestion of someone who should be on the show, please email me at editor@tcjewfolk.com. Also, go to tcjewfolk.com/podcast to listen to our new shows, We Won, Let's Eat, the Jewish Food Podcast, and The Jews Are Tired, a weekly recap of Jewish news through an analytical lens. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.